All right, we will get started, folks. So before I share my screen, we are doing introductions in the chat. So introduce yourself, your name, where you're from, and what your superpower is or what you want it to be. I haven't figured out mine yet. Beskars is flying. Yeah, so love to get to know you guys. So let me share my screen. Maybe. And if anyone else is having as much fun with Microsoft and Teams this week as I am, let's all have a drink of water to commemorate or to commiserate Outlook in Office this week, because it's been a struggle. At least for me, it has. Okay. Move you all so I can see you, and then I'll share my screen. And I will introduce Beskar, and then we will get started straight away on learning everything we can about leveraging. See, it did it again. Hold, please. Hide. What's the shortcut? Oh, come on. Come on, PowerPoint. We can work. Oh, hold on. Let me stop sharing. Try this again. I haven't done this in a few months. You can tell I'm a little rusty. Voila! Okay, Beskar, can you, oh wait, you can't see my screen because I haven't hit the button. Can you see my screen now?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Okay. So welcome to our free April webinar. Today we're talking about winning bids in the age of AI, how to leverage it to craft compelling proposals. So some expectations before I introduce myself and Beskar. Be active, participate. We'd love to see your video, like Zachary, and who we're talking to. No stupid questions, especially with this topic. We are learning as we go. And as you'll see, and as Beskar will probably tell you, it changes minute by minute. So feel free to ask your questions, put them in the chat, or you can come off mute. We'll figure that out with Beskar and how we want to do that. The recording will be either sent out tomorrow or sometime this week. And then we already did, but if you weren't on, there's a few of you who weren't on, introduce yourself in the chat. So your name, where you're from, and what your superpower is, or what you would want it to be. So that's what you'll find in the chat. Okay, a little bit about who I am. So Angie Wolf, I am the owner, master trainer, speaker, founder, whatever. I run Ideas at Dawn. We are a proposal consulting and training firm. I bring 20 years in the engineering and construction industry, working for big companies, and continue to work with them on alternative delivery pursuits. We also train people on how to get better at proposals. So that's a little bit about myself and my firm. And then today we have Beskar, who's the founding director of Bachu. He has a couple companies you may have heard of, Bachu Rain, Bachu Scribble, also principal at Bachu Tech, has a podcast. So a very great resource if you haven't followed or heard of him on anything related to proposals all over the world. So not just US based or Europe, he gets people all over the world. So that's, and then if you stay to the end, I have a offer for one of my trainings that we have coming up actually here in May that I will tell you about at the end. Otherwise, I will hand it over to Beskar and he can take over.
Thank you, Angie. Thank you for the kind introduction. And thank you all. I can find some familiar faces within the room, and some might not have known me. So welcome, welcome, welcome all. So this month is actually Stress Awareness Month. So look after yourself. And again, from tomorrow, within our Connect community, we'll be launching daily meditations and mindfulness programs, yoga, and other stuff that happens. So, but either way, I went through a lot recently. So please to look after yourself and be aware of who you are, because AI is actually your helping tool. I don't want you to be stressed out about AI, because AI is your trusted friend going forward. That's the approach. It's a mindset shift. And that's what I would like to say even before I begin. So thank you. And this is the key takeaways, but there is a lot more within the content. So some of you might have did the story because March 2nd was the very first webinar that we did on AI in bids and proposals, because things were lingering, and we submitted 2 bids entirely on AI, mainly because of personal reasons. I wasn't well, and we had sabbatical within the team. Some issues went on, and we won the first bid, and we got down selected to final 2 on the second one. So literally every part of the bid cycle is not just proposal writing. You could literally do everything. So I just thought I'd seed in with the story. Again, this entire image and every single content of this image was created by AI itself. But the human was involved. It was me. So Lost Bidders on the Beach is a story. You could find a detailed article about this in our website. So I just want you to visualize here, some of you might be breaking off for Easter tomorrow. Happy Easter. So, on a perfect beach, a group of bidders is relaxing, sitting and waving at the sea. Some might even have their laptop with them. You might know. Some of you might take your laptops or work to holidays. If you are, let me know. Please don't. I've done that myself. So they are enjoying the beach, and suddenly some people are seeing, hey, what's happening? The waves are rising up, and slowly at first, then increasingly quickly, the ocean begins to retreat. You can read the content. Primarily, they are sitting and watching something weird happening in front of them, but still they continue. They're happy. 1 or 2 realized, oops, this is not fun anymore, and I just need to run, stay away from this, and they start to run, signaling that there is a danger that comes on, whereas the others. This is human reactions, and this is how we do. Some sit and say, hey, this is exciting. You just they just go inside the water. You could see some just go voluntarily inside the water, get swallowed, some step back, and they did nothing. They got swallowed up, and the other one, it was too late, and they got stuck and they were taken away. The majority of these people were either lost or pulled out in the turbulent waters. So what happens here is, the people who survived on this ended up in somewhere, but they need to start over again. This is a very compelling story. And the reason I want to share that with you today is I didn't realize this is going this fast, because AI wave is real. So this story that I've shared to you is real, and it's happening on a daily basis. So what you're also going to find here is, this, don't see that as a fad that's going to, it's what we call it an inflection point, as they call it. And also what that meant is, historically, you have been having so-called experts, traditionalists, who are going to tell you now debate about human versus AI, ethics versus non-ethics, and all those stuff. End of the day, I just want you to take it like, hey, on a day-to-day work that I'm currently working on, is this tool or is this technology going to help me? Is this going to save me some time that I could go and do it for bigger and better things in my career? Or is it going to help me to save time that I could spend on my loved ones? That's the objective. Anything more is a bonus, right? Today, this webinar, the introductory webinar, is watched by over 700 people. And it's still being watched on a daily basis. And you are today made this decision to join this webinar. So you are already in a higher ground. So I just want to congratulate you and do this, because there are tons and tons of reports that's coming along, which it says, if you follow us, you will know every week there are at least 100 new tools that are popping up as AI. And many of the existing players are adopting to AI, or at least plugging into the stuff. And they say, hey, we are also AI optimized, right? So what I would like you to do is just to explore this frontier. Don't just leave it too late and wait for the best thing to come out, everything automated, everything. It's not going to come, So You have to customize, you have to explore, you have to work it for yourself. And that's an underlying message here. The survivors, who came out, again, I'm not even going to talk about the people who will be taken out by this wave. There will be some. And definitely that's not going to be you, because you are here already. And whoever you're surviving, you cannot survive for long. And there are some people who are sitting and talking about this, and there will be the buyers, the industry is reacting to it, the government is reacting to it. Like if you're part of our AI boot camps, you will know, on a bi-weekly updates, I do talk about what's happening. It's not just tools and plugins. Our industry is already in a discovery phase, and some are actually starting to implement this part of their wider solutions, both on the procurement, supply chain, and also on their day-to-day operations, and most importantly, how they're using it on the sales and marketing as well. So you have a choice to accelerate, and the acceleration is going to be unbelievable, so because now you have the power of AI, so which does all the heavy lift for you. So you're not as a single person. So, and that's the underlying point here, so be courageous, be brave, and explore the frontier. Yes, it's unknown. It is all new, but it's all happening. That's the point that I would like to share. So, I honestly, I just want you to make a decision yourself, and coming and clicking the button yourself. What I want to be part of this adventure, press 1, and I want to continue to survive, which, quarter 2, as we end quarter 2, it's not going to make, please make the decision today to go on, because the next of the slides is going to be slightly on the top end. And I just want you to be in the adventurer mode to just experience that. So I just do like 10 to 15 seconds to just press the number that you want to press. That's because it's a psychological, emotional, mental decision that you're making to just say, yes, I'm ready for it, or at least I'm willing to explore. And I just want to see how many of the 37 are actually pressing 1, 2, or how many of you are going to sit and observe, because if you sit and observe, the result that you're going to get. So just give you out of the 10 seconds. Right? Go for it, because you're not going to lose anything. You're only going to go for it. But again, surviving is fine. It's human, because we were all in wherever we were before. And that threat, when it comes up, it will be defensive, but this is nothing to do defensive. So again, all the stories that I've shared, all the images was created by Midjourney. Anybody used Midjourney before? Anybody's aware of Midjourney?
I think Nick did. Nick was trying to guess, and he had assumed that you had created it via or using Midjourney. So I think Nick knows about it. But
yes, that's good.
And I'm just very, just a little bit familiar with it. I don't know much about it, but I've used it a couple times, and it's pretty amazing.
Brilliant. That's it. Again, I am no more a graphic person, right? I'm much more of a strategist, but it worked for me. It will work for anybody. And but the important point is, my kid, my eldest, who's year 7, when I opened up doing Midjourney, he just opened up. Yeah, Daddy, I've been using it for more than 2 months. So the kids are already in it. So again, if it's not just go log in, experience Midjourney, and this was done. And this image, I just want you to look at this image. I created this image using Midjourney as well. Just see what will an AI-powered individual will look like, So again, you just need to prompt it. We'll talk about the prompts, but most important thing is, I just want you to just look at this image and then see what you think. Yes, it's scary, but look at the eyes, look at the image, and look at how authentic it is, right? So again, so primarily, this is the AI-powered bidder I'm talking about. So you are powered now. That's the energy that you're getting. And the journey has already began. People are already talking about it. There was a time where we were sitting and having a mouse next to us. Yes, we still do it. We click and scroll. But now we are going to have what we call a person next to us. When I projected Bachu Bot 2-3 years ago and say, here we go, you can name the AI who's sitting next to you, and collectively you're going to work with him or her. You could call it. I call my AI Cuckoo, and you could name him in different ways. So here is a white collar worker sitting next to you. You could say good morning, good afternoon, hey. The emails, you could try. You could do anything with it. I'm sure some of you might have already be using some of the well-established tools for the past 3-4 months. And personal agent is a Copilot. Copilot is a big word that's going to come in next year because Microsoft has launched Copilot. Some of you might know what it is. It's going to be like all the slides that we are talking about in 60 seconds or so. It could be converted into a Word document, proper Word document. And any Excel sheets that we have, it won't just tell you what the Excel sheet is about. It also tells you what the Excel sheet is about. What are some of the insights? It automatically does it for you. So you know what? The cost of cognitive labor is going to near zero, because things are like, as long as you know, Canva is amazing. At the moment, Canva is also being plugged into OpenAI, and you're going to find a lot of things. And there are lots of company-wide agents that's going to come up as well. You know, RPA, robotic process automation and stuff, but this is much more at a human level. When I say human level, what are you talking? AI, human doesn't go well? No, it will go well. Again, it's entirely based on what you're going to use it for. But mostly, I just want you to, leave things that's outside your control and focus on what you can do. There are a few pointers that's been given. Again, since I'm in full screen, I can't. Some of the roles are going to be affected. We need to be honest about it. And these roles, mainly because the knowledge is democratized. It's there. Billions of records taken out, and then what can you do with the records is a question. So now anybody with the power of AI can compete with a company that has a multitude of researchers, multitude of financials, mathematicians, etc. Similarly, marketing and other things. So we wrote 100 articles in 30 days, which is inhumanly possible. But we wrote 3 articles a day using power of AI, and collectively we have got over 400,000 views, right? In 1 month. It is possible, if you use it, if you do it. But again, there are a couple of reports that tells us what's going to happen to people who don't adopt to. And yes, the exposure is a big word. Every task that you do is going to be exposed to to AI, and it's up to us to use it to our advantage. If we don't do it, then obviously we'll be one of these numbers we'll be hitting. So, yes, you can be scared about it, but personally, I would say you are not going to be replaced 100%. It's what can we do to take it further. Again, the content is much more on the proposal development. Is there any marketers or anybody else who are involved? And maybe I'll add a little bit around it. So again, as I mentioned, everything you do now, pre-proposal, proposal, post-proposal, operations, account planning, sales, everything you can empower it by AI. We already tested it. And the important thing is you as an individual need to experiment, explore yourself, what works for you. Then you just need to empower your team to experiment, explore, and collectively, then you decide what you can do to optimize. So if this is the bid development journey that we have, then you could go ahead and see, experiment. What we say that is, you take a bid that you're currently working on, see where you could use AI in the bid. In the just a normal research, or even creating exec summaries, or even creating email notes, meeting notes, whatever is it, and try to do it. Do that. Every person within the team does it. Over 3 months, you collectively do the learning, 10 plus bids. Then you decide what your AI optimized process is going to be, which is going to be something like that. We have already done that for our organization. We're already doing it for many organizations. But this is the process that you follow. You do an initial training, then you test it out within your company. What can you do? Then you actually quickly go and adapt it and say, hey, this is the company-wide, you are individual to the company-wide, how you can go and optimize. So what's the new way of working? Again, the game has changed at the moment, and this is what speed is going to be of essence, and you might be thinking, speed compromises quality. No, it entirely depends on how we approach it, because it's going to let you go of things that's been clucking you for a long time. We all sit in at the meetings on a day-to-day basis and do our work in the evenings or on the weekends. So now you could see how you could use this to get the best use of those things, transcribe the information and do anything with it. At the same time, the bits that you're focusing on, you could pump in a lot of content, make it, crunch it and summarize it for you and say, hey, what is it you want to do? There are so many various ways of doing, and I'm sure that you're already working on this, but this is the change. Speed is now coming up, which means your competition is going to come from anywhere and everywhere. I am not going to even do this. Please tell me that you haven't used ChatGPT. You should have, right? Anybody who hasn't used it, don't worry, please do use it. But anybody who hasn't used it, anybody who are using it on a day-to-day basis, if you use it on a day-to-day basis, please press 1. How are you finding it? Is it helping you? Where are you using it? And please do keep the chat active. So free or plus, again, anybody subscribe to plus, again, go and add, yes, I'm a plus subscriber, because yes, plus gives you $20 a month. Difference between free and plus, as you know, that is free gives you 4,000 words. It can remember 4,000 words, plus remembers 25,000 words, which is what you are sending it. And then the next one is, free is much more fast, but its reasoning is low, whereas plus is slow, whereas reasoning is fast. So that's it. But the quick hack is, if you don't want to subscribe to plus, you can use the Bing, if you go to Bing browser, and if there is a next to the search, you now have chat. And if you click the chat, it's automatically connected to 4. So you can use 4 even without subscribing to plus. But again, it's there for you. But personally, I would keep it. The only problem with that approach is all your previous chats and other things will not be stored there. Still free, but you can at least start from there. That's one. So 4, we already talked about it, much more interesting. Again, March 2nd, when we launched it, 4 was about to come 3.54. Now they're already working on 4.5. It's happening very, very fast. So Bard is live. Anybody using Bard, Google Bard? Again, the difference, as you know, that is, OpenAI, ChatGPT has their final database set at September 2021. That's their final point. Whereas Bard, they say, connects to the internet. But today there are so many plugins that connects ChatGPT to the web. And you can also do research and things based on real time. But the update has come out that OpenAI will not, because we collaborate with OpenAI on this, OpenAI will not going to extend the timeline from September 2021, say March 2023 or something. For them, the focus is, what are the use cases? What are people using it for? How is it working? How they could improve those things. So they're working much more on that rather than to just add another 15 billion records to this, etc. So Bard comes in. Anybody using Bard? I did ask the question. If you're using Bard, that's interesting. But yeah, please do play with it. Again, it's quite interesting, but the answers that you could get from Bard might not be, the reasoning part of Bard is not really active, but you can try that, because it's early tool, but it's important for you to do 3 things. Number one is ask the same question in 3.5 ChatGPT, ask the same question in 4, ask the same question in Bard, then see how that works. So again, there are so many things that you could use. Step 1 is use it for email messages. You can use it to meeting notes, conduct baseline research, brainstorm ideas. I'm going into this meeting, what could be the objective of this meeting? I'm creating the slides, what could be the content of the slides, anything and everything, prepare outline, report, slides. And I'm sure you're using it for something else as well. So it's not just this. This is one of the, this was posted yesterday in one of the group, where one person surrounded by ChatGPT, CTO, creative officer, etc., because you can now train it to be an ex-person. Again, prompts is a big word, which we'll touch in the next part of the webinar. And you could make it act as a particular person, him or her, and it will work according to the person. So at the moment, you're using it for different things. One of the things that I suggest you to do that is, in one chat, always make it act as an ex-person, and then use that whole thread around that ex-person. It'll be fascinating. Very quickly, it will start to work or as that person. So if you don't know that person, ask. One of the things that we do, part of the leadership program, is ask the communication style. Ask your team member, how would you like to be communicated, as a text message, or as an email, or as a phone call, or as a what do you call, Zoom call, or a Microsoft Teams call, etc. And once you note down that, you can just feed it like, this person, this is the characteristics of this person. He likes, him or her, he likes this way. He likes to have in 3-4 lines. He likes to do this, which means you're training it very, very simply in chat as if this person, that could be a line manager, that could be a colleague, that could be a boss for governance meeting, etc. Imagine now you feed the content to it, it will exactly give you in the format that your boss likes, or your CEO likes. Job done. So it's you can use it in multitude of ways. Again, before, I know some of your questions will be there. Before I even get in, I'll just go on this. oh my God, these tools they are going to take, and it's part of plagiarism, etc. End of the day, you are paid to do a job, which is to ensure that the end user who's reading your content is he or her is getting the best of your content. That's your job, right? So because we all have been fine-tuned with Google search or search for a long time, we have been asking for source of the information. You will be fine-tuned in the next 1 or 2 years where nobody will ask about what's the source of the document. It's going to be a change. It's going to be change that we all need to be prepared for. But no, so what that means here is the argument of whether the content is written by AI or humans, which, initially there were tools that came up with, okay, let's read this document and say whether this is human written content or AI written content, etc. But today the prompts are very, 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 very advanced. So that those tools is unable to do those things. But either way, for you as a person, you need to submit your answer. You need to write an article. You need to write a report. You need to make slides. You need to do it. End of the day, if it works for your end user, why do you need to worry about whether it's created by AI or human? AI doesn't create it. You still need to give the right prompts, right instruction to create it. So I would personally move away from this thing of plagiarism and others, because it's like we are here to have a customer avatar, which is like somebody whom you are writing to help to win the bid. And that buyer, him or her, likes the bid. If you're a marketer, you are writing it, him or her, for your customer avatar, and your end user is happy with the content. That's it. If it works for them, it works for them. So what really matters is, as it says here, your content is clear, accurate, convincing. So don't fall on this trap, because your traditionalists who are losing in the market will come out with all this stuff because they don't want to adapt, but they will also stop you from adapting. So again, yes, if the wheel has already been, that's a very good point. Keep adding your comment here. And if you want to challenge me, you feel free to challenge me on these things as well. So again, people will talk about the next myth is about confidentiality, cybersecurity, and other things. Remember, both Bard, which is backed by Google, and also Microsoft, which is backed, and also OpenAI, ChatGPT, backed by Microsoft. If they are spending multi-billion on this technology, do you think that they would not be thinking about the IPs, the confidentiality, and cybersecurity, etc., especially with the US? Do you think they'll be open up for all the lawsuits and stuff? So and now with everything being integrated, Canva integrated, you have Adobe, which you'll touch, integrated with OpenAI. They are coming out with their own tools. Then you have the entire Microsoft 365 from Word, Excel, SharePoint. Everything is OpenAI. Why would they go and do that if they don't believe this is confidential, cybersecurity, etc.? These are the messages that, again, putting doubts in this. Your IT team will be dwelling on this because that's part of their job. Oh, I'm not going to allow this whole thing to happen but that's their job to do that. If they don't do it, that's not. But again, now is the time to explore. Now is the time to do it. And the IT teams are also now thinking that, are we the bottleneck to stop the company to grow? Because if this tool enables us to do that, why are we stopping it to grow? Again, there are lots of that's happening in this domain as well. For me personally, if Microsoft's reputation or Google's reputation, if you believe in Microsoft Teams, do you think Microsoft Teams that you have, they're not listening to it? Or, if you trust Microsoft Teams to do the work, or Zoom calls that we're happening, they don't listen to what we're talking about? And we accept privacy is a gray area for a very long time. So, and whether people are using it for training purposes or people are using it for their own learning, etc., it's beyond us. Again, don't fall on the trap of this. Is this going to help me to do my job better? Is this going to help me to get the time back to do the things that I want to do? That's the focus again. Don't fall on this trap as well. The other guys who are going to come is going to be these new guys who are just going to say, these are the products that are not backed up by these big companies, but these are the custom LLMs. LLMs are language models. So these guys are the guys who are going to come and tell you like, oh, you know what? If you use Microsoft Bing or if you use Google Bard, etc., there is no competitive advantage towards it because everybody is going to do the same thing. No, if you believe you are unique, what information you are feeding, the way you think, it's never going to be unique, right? It's never going to be the same. Sorry. And so that's all. So AI is just there. It's a raw tool. The way you use it, the way you think, the way you apply AI is going to be very different for everything, because that's what every person gets a tender document in his hand or in a hand. And we all do things differently. Nobody follows the same process, right? even though we all have some certain best practice. So just be aware of these LLM. You're going to get a lot of sponsored webinars within our friendly communities, elsewhere. So when all these guys are going to come and say, look at us, we are secure, we are this, we are that, etc. And your IT or other team might be looking into the solution, etc. But again, these are things personally, again, whether it's Microsoft or Google or anybody, do what you can, experiment. What does these tools know already about you? What does the tool already know about your customer, your competitor, your tender? Then you just decide whether you're going to feed any information specific to your needs to just do it. You can anonymize and still get the information about it, and you can do it, but don't get it constrained. And beware of the custom LLMs, because it's going to be super expensive, and I'm already seeing many people are doing that. Then the moral panic has kicked in, because you can clearly see the technology is moving very, very fast on a weekly basis. So the traditional tech players like the Apples and the Teslas and the Facebooks of the world, if they're unable to compete with the Googles and Microsoft of the world, guess what they do? They just come back with statements and say, hey, you know what, this is an evil thing to do. We can't do this. And that world will continue to give. The moral policing will also happen. We call to pause training AI, call to pause what are we going to do, etc. Again, don't be stuck. It's not every week we do a news update, and this is what I want to share. Google introduced Bard last week. OpenAI plugins have happened, and there are close to 100 tools have launched just on last week alone. Microsoft introduced Bing image generator. Now you could use Bing. You don't need to use Midjourney, or even you don't need to use DALL-E 2, which is used to be OpenAI's tool. Adobe launched Firefly, Runway, if you use Runway, and Canva, if you use Canva. Canva also has OpenAI. So this is just this month, March 2nd to now. And this is just last week. So, and things are going at a drastic pace, right? So I just put my dull picture into DALL-E. and then I said, okay, as you can see here, you could upload an image, and I just want you to play with it. If you go to labs.openai.com, you could go and you could feed any image that you already have, and then you could see, now go and play with this image, and it will convert that image into a nice format. So you don't need to have Midjourney. Midjourney, one day it's free. After that, you might need to pay $8 a month or something like that, but it's still amazing. But you could start to use this. You could start to play with it. Anybody use DALL-E yet? If you are, they're labs.openai totally. So if it's there, you can also use it as surprise. Especially, it's amazing for marketers, because you could create your customer avatar, and you can also create some very nice images for your front cover of any proposal using these things. You can also create flowcharts and stuff. But these are mainly done for single images and some things. But if you want to add the logos and a few other punchy messages, etc., what the logo says, this is amazing. But if you train it properly, it can also give you flowcharts and bits and other pieces. So again, this is board Midjourney. You can use Midjourney, and then the next one is going to be, this one is super interesting. It's called Dectopus. Dectopus, we use it all the time. So what you do with Dectopus is, you don't, if you go and add, it just asks you for this. You can go and add a type, please to log in, and then say, hey, I want to write, yes, stress awareness month. This month is stress. I just want to do a presentation for stress awareness month. The very first line asks you, okay, fine. How long do you want to talk? 10 minutes, 25 minutes, an hour? Okay, 25 minutes. Then you add 25 minutes. Then it will say, okay, it will automatically go to the internet. It will search for stress awareness. What are the stuff people are searching? And it will bring up that as your headline for individual slides. And it will also brings in further. It's amazing. And, the pricing is very low. But but you could create with free. You could do a lot of stuff. So then for 25 minutes, when I didn't use Dectopus for this slide, I promise, but because this is, but you can use this. You can use this for just try it out. It's amazing. It's like within 60 seconds, it builds up a content, a 15 slide, 20 slide generic content. And we will be using this for our Stress Awareness Month campaign. This month, creating different mental health awareness, trainings, mental health stuff, meditation, etc. We'll be using this, so please do try that. So RFP shredding is a big thing, and there is also something that you could do. You could use your own ChatGPT and Bard and stuff, and you can add the content either in Dropbox, or you can add the content in OneDrive or anything, and then give that link to it. It will summarize it, but you do need to prompt it properly. Chat PDF and Ask Your PDF. Ask Your PDF is a new tool, and xmagic.ai. You feed the PDF document to these tools, and then you ask it, give the prompts, hey, what's this document about? What's the key points I want to know about these documents, etc. It just does. But you may need to go back and double check the answer, and then if you give it a 100-page document, expect you to do that, it might do page number 118, 74 or something. You just need to be slightly wary of it. But please do have a look at that. The next one is what are the other tools that you could go for? We already talked about ChatGPT or Bard. Pluses there. Microsoft 365. It's already connected with Copilot and OpenAI. But again, if you use Microsoft Teams Premium, today you could use Microsoft Teams Premium to transcribe and to send the action list, and also connect to Outlook, and it automatically sends emails out. It's there already. You don't need to be technologically advanced to do that. It automatically does it. So Jarvis, anybody using Jarvis, it's a very good tool for marketers. Predominantly for articles and other things, writes nice headlines and ensures that whatever you write, Quillbot is another tool that we use. It's very, very easy to use Quillbot. If you find any content that's interesting for you, if you take the content, want to add the content and say, can you do the content and normalize it in the way there are 10 different templates, it normalizes for you. So Quillbot is good. Whisper AI is another one. Whisper AI, we use it for podcast. So this one, it's again, you can instead of giving text prompts, you could give what do you call the audio prompts. It's slightly advanced, but if you're using podcast and the audio content, it's amazing. It does it. So that's the one. But again, if you are, the very first thing as I suggest is, don't just ask it to do something that you want it to do. Also explore, what does it know? Does it know the stuff that you always tried? What are the different styles? What are the different processes, methodologies, approaches, best practices? There was a time people used to value about, this is IP, this is mine, that's done. Even within Scribble, we have all these templates. We just went on and did it. You want to write a leadership program. You want to write, like all the keywords that you learned about it, go and test it out, because it's use this as your swipe file. Can you create a sales letter? Can you write an executive summary? What are the best practice in executive summary? What's this best practice about? Or if you find interesting book about leadership, Simon Sinek said, what does Simon Sinek said about XYZ? Ask that. It will tell you. Now, using Simon Sinek as an example, can you write this for me? So that just brings us to prompt. I thought I'll spend 2-3 minutes on prompt before I go. The prompts is the way you communicate with AI, and there are multitudes of forms. There are at least 100 different prompts that you could work with, but let me just say 2 for now. A naked prompt is just like you're going blunt and you're asking it to do something. You haven't given it anything. You're just simply asking, hey, write an email to Angie. And he's like, who's Angie? I don't know Angie. So what email do you want me to write to? And now you go into, hey, Angie sent me this email, copy paste the email, and now write a friendly email. Angie's a close friend. So, just a friendly email to Angie, and this is it. So now it has got some context and it worked with this. The best way to do that is a role-based prompt. Now you're acting, as I told you, if you don't know who you want to act as, you can simply say a word, act as this person, act as Barack Obama, act as a marketer, act as a proposal manager, act as X person, etc. And now you're going to do that. Remember, if you're a marketer, this is amazing. But if you're a proposal person, you are restricted, because a proposal as an industry, with how many years, we still haven't got into as a profession. Whatever people might say, AI doesn't accept you as a profession. Let's put it that way. So when you want to get the best out of AI, when you are talking in a proposal language, you are constraining it. Because it has very limited information about it. But instead, it's the same message. You just want to attract the attention of your buyer. You just want to ensure that the buyer gets information that differentiates you from the others. And when it why can't you use the words differently? Why can't you act as a marketer? Why can't you act as an advertiser and or so many other stuff? Use that. That's the tip. So again, the best way to use the master the prompts is this: act as the ex-person, write an update. You need to specify a length. If you don't give the length, then it just gets totally confused. And as I mentioned, don't just say an executive summary or a one-page report or something. Try to be clever, a video script, a radio advertisement, sales letter, so that it has a broad database of clever stuff that you can do it for you. Then if you want to add a little bit more about your product or service or something, then give it a style. Here I gave Professor Cialdini. Professor Cialdini, as you know Professor Cialdini, right? Seven principles of influence. So he's just like a master. So if what that means is when you're writing it, it just gives that, principles of influence and it adds the content. So my end point to you is this before I close it and open for thing. Before you work with this, yes, AI is here. I'm not going to say that this AI is going to die or something. It's there for you. You experiment with AI. But before you work on this, either it's Bard or ChatGPT, you need to say your intention. What are you going to achieve from that? Feed it context, relevant information. Then expand that information, which is like, hey, now I've got that. Can you make this? Can you remove this? Can you add a little bit more? You got the content, and then you start the work. So anything and everything. So context first, content next. So, this way, if you, this is a quote that I always do, part of the leadership program. And so if you follow the herd, you will end up in shit. And that's true. And that's a life lesson for anybody. So because you are here, AI is here, and now you can follow, but you are led by an AI. And an AI is, again, there are people who are doing silly stuff with this. Hey, tell me 3 + 1 = 5. And you train it. You can train it later. First, let us understand the power of AI. Let's embrace the power of AI and let's use it. Then we can train the AI. That's the second phase. And I'm not even going to how you can train the AI now. You can then feed your details, feed your content, then you could get the best use of it. But for now, let's experiment, let's do it. So today you have made this promise to be part of the space crew and go for the adventure because it's all new. And we are starting this journey, but it's happening very, very quickly. And with all the tools that you use, if you are part of the Google world or Google Sheets and others, then Google has Bard. If you are part of the Microsoft crew, then you're having the Microsoft tools all connected to OpenAI. Either way, this is here for you to plan. Even if you don't know how to use PowerPoint, Excel, Word, today you can get the maximum out of those tools, SharePoint, etc. That's what fascinates me. Power BI, OneNote, Outlook, anything that you're using with very limited features today. Now with AI, you could make the best use of those tools, right? That's the underlying principle. As you come out of this webinar, my final thoughts with it. First, you're not alone. You have an AI friend at the moment that supercharge whatever you want to do. Second one is don't be a bit survivor or an observer, because you're not going to last long. You're not going to last long. And I just want you to take a brave thing. And once you start, you're going to go somewhere. I just want to encourage you to become this adventurous, brave bidder. And most importantly, play with it. Give the prompts, tell what the role you're doing, give it the context, and then you go from there. And if anybody's still imagining that, if you're waiting somebody who's going to come in the year's time and say, hey, we are human only. All these other content are human only content. And we charge £3,000 per day to do those content, or even if we charge the same, people are not going to believe it because they already got the best AI optimized content, which is serving them from that. So human only content is coming to an end, and it will come to an end faster than we anticipated. So that's the point. So again, every week, every month, we do an AMA session. It's there within our website. You could join and ask any questions, or we'll also talk about what else is new and anything there. And this is a platform that we have. You can join in, say hello there. A lot of people there. Angie is there. And also to drop a line to Angie, because I work closely with Angie. If there is anything we want to work together, come through Angie. It would be great. And most importantly, the bootcamp that we have run, we are testing more and more. You can join the next version of this whenever that goes live. And we can just work together on this. So that's it. Thank you very much. And it took slightly longer than I anticipated. If any further questions, I'm here for you. So as Angie pointed, be courageous and be brave. Any questions? It's okay. I'm still a human. You can ask me.
Zachary?
I don't have any specific questions. It was pretty broad reaching. I think it covered a lot, and thank you for your time, both of you. I would say the only question is, what did I write down? It's all about the prompting and how you sort it, and then context to content. That really makes a lot of sense. You got to have your context, who you're speaking to, and then where do you want to go, and then the people will really still be the end result of the doing a lot of the work, and then we will be the facilitators of the information coming out, which will allow us to be creative and ultimately courageous and brave. I mean, that's what I thought.
Yes, again, we all need to, because this is like a naughty kid, right? You just need to work with this kid, and it's new, it's very clever, but it's very new. So we just need to adapt ourselves. For far too long, from early 2000 to 2023, 20 years, we have been searching. Remember, searching is not this. So, right? So if you apply the principles of search, where you search something and you get a long list of 20, 30 odd links, then you click every single link, and then you find the best answer for you, that's dead. So you are not searching here. You're finding answer. And the answer, it works around behind the scene and gets you the answer. So that's what I'm talking about, is a mindset switch for us. So when the prompt is the way that you ask for it, hey, I know a lot, how are you going to work with me? That's the language. And there are different content. And there is a website called Prompt Genius. So people are now selling prompts. Hey, you are a marketer, here are the 100 prompts that you need. Here are a legal advisor, here are the 100 prompts that you need. So we have created over 300 prompts for bidders as well, but we are not going to add it and sell it for $10 because this is going to be unique for you. Who am I to say this prompt is going to work for you? It worked for me, for my sector, for my personality, for my language. English is not my first language, but still. But you need to find your own prompts, and that's the main thing. So that's it. So again, adapt to this and do what it takes. But any other questions, anybody who tried something in ChatGPT or Bard or any other tools, and you have any doubts on this, we could open up and we could test it out. Anyone find any challenges, or anyone finding these tools useful that you're already using it? No, all gone quiet.
Yeah, I've been recently trying to use the ChatGPT functions. So some of the content which I have been looking for, because since many of us already have a repository in place to work for the content part,
Yes.
but some of the times you're trying to correlate those points with the repository, and it has been useful so far. But if ever I'll be trying to go for any research part of thing, I'm not able to exactly find the code description of a particular part, because it's been trying to give me concise, yes, clear and concise responses to my questions, but it does not go, because see, sometimes the proposal asks, please describe the process, let's say, and maybe I needed some attention or kind of a guidance in that part. How do I try to search for the specific content if I have to go in a more description part of it?
Again, that's thank you, Mubashir. Again, because what you want, it doesn't know yet, right? So when so that's the point that I mentioned. When you ask a naked question like, "Can you write this process for me?" It doesn't know what process. So you need to feed it. Initially, just ask it like, "I want to have a 5-step process in 300 words in the format of X." And so if I get the information, then okay, thank you for sharing that information, but use this content that you already have. Now go and redo this information and still come out with a 5-step process. And now you've got a 5-step process that's ballpark. Now say, hey, can you write a design script for DALL-E or Midjourney and stuff, so that you are simply asking ChatGPT to prompt for Midjourney or prompt for DALL-E. So it will do the prompt for you. Okay, now, you've created this 5-step process. I want to write this prompt for my designer, explain this for my designer, how him or her needs to create this design. You can now create this, hey, X, Y, Z, this is what this client, this is the scenario, etc. If you feed it, it will create process. It will create a response for you. 300 words, 500 words. I want it to be like this style. I want it to be concise. I want it to be compelling. I want it to do this. And also you could have specific styles as well. Again, if you prefer certain people, the way certain people talk, now you can add to that style as well. Tony Robbins, add in Tony Robbins style. It just talks as if you're a Tony Robbins. Your response, your process. If you have a structured process guy within whom you follow, add his style. Go for it. But again, you need to first ask a standard question, feed the relevant information, get the data out, ask it for a little bit more information, get on with it, and then see whether you could convert it as a diagram, etc. You will learn. You will learn in Mubashir. Begin experimenting.
So that means what you want to exactly portray to us is that we have to be really interactive with ChatGPT. Then beyond one-on-one conversation, maybe then somehow it's going to give you what exactly you want.
I say good morning, good evening. I'm having lunch.
Okay, really? That's fantastic. I didn't know about it because it's something very new for me. I have been a technology kind of a person, and since as soon as I heard about it, I waited for some time to get an understanding of it, how it works, and all that. And so far, things have been particularly good. But yes, now what you have mentioned to me just now, I'm really going to try it. Thank you so much.
Yes. Again, assume, because I have a colleague who's autistic. You know how the autistic people work, right? You need to give them everything is in writing, in a logical way of explaining, right? And this tool is like that. You can't talk it through yet, but with the other tool like Whisper and stuff, you can talk it through. This one, you just need to write it. Sometimes it's frustrating to explain what you want to write it to, right? So, this is it. This is what I want to achieve. And this is the output I want to go for. Then it gives you, sometimes it goes into what we call hibernation. It just goes and tells you something totally random. So it's all part of the world, just explore. And ChatGPT is just the beginning. But there are so many tools that I showed you that's started. As we progress, I'll come back to Angie again in 3 months' time. We'll do a follow-up session on this.
A whole new one.
Whole new
tools.
With different tools, and we could go from there.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anybody else having any final question? Hope you find it useful. Follow me, connect with me, connect with Angie, and if there is anything, we'll go from there. Otherwise, Angie, I think we are done.
Okay.
And then
Thank you, Bhaskar.
What's the final offer, Angie?
Yeah, so let me share my screen. And actually, hold on. Yeah. And then I'll tell you all. So again, while I pull up my screen, we will send out the recording sometime, maybe this week. I do have it set up for sure to go out next week in emails, but hold on. I hate PowerPoint some days. Must have updated settings. Like I had it set up properly. So it doesn't duplicate. Okay. All right, so for those that are left, I'll just tell you a little bit about an upcoming training that we have coming up. Maybe, oh, come on, PowerPoint. I know I shouldn't have closed it. Okay. So what it is, it's and actually I think I might change this training. So it is our 6-step process training. So taking you through a 6-step framework on how to develop proposals. I have it set up in specific to AEC industry, but it's proposals in general. So let me go to the slide. So it's the 6 steps to develop proposals confidently while working with engineers and estimators. In the chat, I will put the link. There you go. So that's the link to it to learn some more information. We are going to be starting our next round. We do this training about 4 times a year live. You can always attend or purchase a recording. This one, we're going to be changing it up. So if you've attended in the past, it's going to be a little bit different. It's going to go a little bit more deep into the tools. From a proposal perspective, we will probably look at AI as well, and how to either create new tools and what that looks like as well. So the price is just under $1,000. If you are bringing more than one person, let me know. We do have an offer that is still live that for 5 people, that it's 50% off. So I don't remember the exact number off the top of my head, but just under $500. And it's a 1-day training to learn everything about everything in proposals in the AEC industry. So if you're new to that industry, haven't attended a training or learning on the fly, this would be a great addition to learn more faster, because as Bhaskar talked about, it's becoming all about speed. So how can we onboard and train our people faster so they can contribute faster, and then start using tools as well. So that is, and I put the link in the chat, and so that's all I have. So that's the offer. We will follow up via email and also LinkedIn messages as well. But if you have any questions for Bhaskar or myself, you can send them to me or him, and I'll be sure to include his contact information in the email. On however you want people to get a hold of you, Bhaskar, but it is changing daily. I'm in Bhaskar's class on AI, and it changes all the time. And the more I listen to him, there's new tools out there, and it is about efficiency. And I think that's the big thing. Someone on my team, I don't know if Allie's still on, is afraid of AI. So hopefully Bhaskar swayed her to be thriving and being an adopter and learning how to use it, instead of being afraid that it will replace us. Because once you start using it, you'll realize there still needs to be a human there. Not only to input the request and ask and prompts, but also to review it, because it's not always right. And that's part of it as well. So there will need to be a human involved. And what I told my team, it's, yes, AI will probably replace some people, but it's adding on to what others are doing and just becoming more efficient. So there's a little bit of optimization there. I think as we see with any technology, this technology is hitting, call it the white collar folks, and not the blue collar. So a little bit different for all of us. So I will see you all. I'm not sure when our next free webinar is. We're changing up our schedule a little bit, but we will get that sent out in the emails and get this recording sent out hopefully this week. Okay. Well, thank you all again for those who are still here and those that watch the recording as well. All right. Bye.